It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Welcome back, everyone, to Inside the Force. I am David Cottingham, here with, as always, Casey Cooley.
Hello, everyone.
We are back for episode 49 after a fantastic week.
Yes. Big week. It was a big week.
Big week. First, if you haven't heard, our interview with Tom Kane last week, preceding the release of The Clone Wars on Netflix.
Yep.
Had a great 45-minute conversation with him about his entire career as well as his work on Star Wars. Please, if you haven't heard that, just stop this podcast right now and go back a week and listen to that, please. Great guy to talk to. We're actually going to talk to him again this coming week, which we'll get into.
We're friends now.
We're buds.
I call him TK.
TK, yeah. I just call him Yoda.
He doesn't like that.
Oh.
No.
And then, of course, on Friday, March 7th, you got the entire series as well as 13 brand new episodes of what they're dubbing the Lost Missions of the Clone Wars, which we are going to talk about as well on this episode, the first arc of the series, the new season, which is 4 episodes concerning Order 66.
Yes.
Now, I'm further along than Casey is, but just real quick, your overall impression of the first 4 episodes.
Pretty awesome. Pretty cool. Trying to think. Because it was mostly, of course, about the clones. Like
right.
You got some of Anakin, some of Shaak Ti.
Well, we got a lot of Shaak Ti, which I'm glad because we don't know much about her.
Right.
We really don't.
And it was just so... Like, I want to know how close this was to episode 3 because they got so close to finding out
I
the
know.
truth. And
that is a big question, too. That I think they have to hopefully release in Story Group the actual time of the time. Yeah, time of the timeline.
I mean, it'd be okay if this happened literally maybe the week before.
Yeah, because, Anakin's... Yeah, and we'll get more into this, but like Anakin's hair is still the same length. It's not as long as it is by episode 3.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's... and, of course, some of them are still wearing that battle gear kind of thing. But
Mace Windu was,
anyway, we'll get into that. But we are continuing our... we didn't start it last week because of our interview with Tom Kane, but we are continuing on our movie-themed months, and we are into episode 2 right now. So we will begin episode 2 month this week, and we will tie it into talking about the Clone Wars, the new season. So we've got 4 weeks left of 4 Tuesdays left of this month, so which it works out perfect because there's 4 story arcs within the last season of the Clone Wars. So we will talk about each arc in each episode, one at a time, and then tie it into episode 2. So for this first arc of the Clone Wars, we are going to talk about the planet Kamino. We're going to profile Kamino because in episode 2, obviously, you find out that is the cloning planet facility when Obi-Wan is doing his research during episode 2, his investigation on the assassination of Padme.
Yeah.
Tracks down Zam Wessel, the changeling bounty hunter, who is basically killed by Jango Fett using a Kamino saber dart. So we will get into the planet Kamino, their technology and whatnot, and then of course we'll hit up some little bit of news.
Yeah.
Talk about the Clone Wars arc, get some trivia, move along with our lives.
Move on. Yeah.
All right, so Kamino. We are going to talk about Kamino now, and Kamino, like we just mentioned in episode 2, was the watery planet where the clone army of the Galactic Republic was created. It is in the region known as Wild Space, which is even further kind of out of the outer rim.
Yeah.
As pointed out by Dex, or Dex. Yeah, Dex. Just south of the Rishi Maze.
Yeah.
So that's what even Obi-Wan, when he's pointing to Yoda, he's like, it should be here, just south of the Rishi Maze. Yeah. And it's empty. But we'll get into why it's also, I mean, obviously, if you've seen the movie, but we'll explain it a little bit more. But anyway, and it's governed by a ruling council, and then it's headed by a prime minister. In episode 2, it's headed by Lama Su, who is the leader that Obi-Wan consults with when he comes and investigates the saber dart. So Kamino was the history basically around 19,000 BBY. Climate shifts melted all the glaciers on Kamino, and resulting obviously in a planet flood, a great flood, which basically covered all the continents. And then the Kaminoans used cloning to actually keep themselves going instead of, I guess, breeding,
procreating.
I mean, they developed cloning and cloned themselves to sustain their race. Now, there were packets of islands briefly, but of course, not only is there flooding going on, there's constant storms. So it is constantly raining on this planet. So they obviously built facilities that stuck out above the water, and that's where a lot of their facilities are. Like their capital, Tapoka City, is the capital, and that's the place where we see in episode 2 where they have the cloning facility.
I feel like that's the only place we ever see.
I know, and apparently there's other cities around. There's 3 major cities: Tamira and Durham City as well. So,
in the movie, even the shows, we only see one city because everything else is ocean.
Although they may look the same, so we don't necessarily know for sure if they're
the same.
They're all the buildings all look the same, I guess. So Kamino, just a little bit about the system. It's one of 13 planets that orbit a aging star. The dwarf satellite galaxy is a decaying orbit in the loose sector of the unknown grouping of stars between the Rishi Maze and the main galaxy. Now, like we said, it's in wild space in the outer rim. It is the 5th of the 13th planets, and then Kamino itself has 3 moons that orbit itself. Like we said, the planet is composed of molten core. With a rocky mantle, but the climate change obviously submerged the entire planet and its continents and everything under the water. So, and with the constant rain, obviously, temperature hasn't changed in a way. So, and let's see, a little coordinate wise, it's 70,000 light years from the core, the distance of the core from the core, of the galaxy. 27 standard hours is its rotation period. 463 days in its standard rotation orbital period.
I want someone to write a book, like a scientific book about Star Wars, like how they travel, all that stuff.
That's what basically we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
we could.
You mean a scientific?
Yeah, once like light speed, like how they travel, how's hyperspace.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's like a science according to Star Wars. No, there's like a
how it works.
How it works.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's a science channel thing like that, right? But they don't really talk.
Yeah,
much.
I mean, they could probably explain to you how they think hyperspace works.
Because they talk about proton torpedoes. They talk about lightsabers and all that. It's pretty cool.
Right.
Yes. Sorry.
Lost my system.
Okay.
Anyway, what else we got? Once you hit on
sentient life. So Kamino, populated by Kaminoans, of course. And you said that they potentially came from... Well, the origin is unknown. They think maybe from cloning, but they sustained by cloning. They were sustained because they cloned themselves. But they The Kaminoans, very strange, if you can remember from Attack of the Clones. They're very tall. They have that weird long neck, and I didn't really know this, I guess, but they walk on their toes. And there's the actual term for that, the digitigrade stance, whatever it's called, where some animals can walk on their toes instead of their the pads on their feet, and so the Kaminoans walk the same way. That's how they're really quiet. They kind of flow through the hallways and all that stuff. Huh. Really strange. And they have one. It seems like the males are the only parts of this only gender of the species that have these kind of fin ridges along their small bulbous skulls. Or I guess the females, of course, have more of a slender head, and they have almond-shaped eyes. And I didn't know this. If you've seen them, they have these really dark, black-looking eyes. Mm-hmm. That's because they only see color in They only see ultraviolet colors. The colors in the ultraviolet spectrum.
Wow.
So whenever they're looking at something, what is white? So what appears as white in, I guess, real life in our visual, where we see the visible color spectrum, to them that's actually colored with shades and all these other weird. I don't know. I guess it's kind of hard because I've never actually seen ultraviolet, I guess, light through. I guess it kind of looks like that ultraviolet light, flashlight that shines on stuff. Has purple and then white stuff kind of glows. I guess it's kind of like that. I guess that's kind of what they see. So they see colors that we humans do not see. And then they fly around on these cetaceans called, I guess it's called AWAs. Those little flying things that come out of the water.
Yes.
And they're indigenous to Naboo. Isn't there a trivia thing about that? How they were meant for Bespin?
Well, I was about to say,
right?
Well, when we profiled Bespin, I mentioned because I read behind the scenes in episode 2 when they created these things, the AWAs. Those were originally intended to be in Bespin, flying around Bespin, but they couldn't digitally create those. So when they got the chance, they put them
in the water.
Kamino.
Yeah. Well, it's weird that they're indigenous to Naboo, it says here, and they are probably created using, of course, cloning technology. So that's them. That's all they got. Just these tall Kaminoans and those flying things that come out of the water.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, so technology-wise, they were obviously the foremost creators of cloning.
Yeah.
They were known for their facilities. They have been cloning for a very, very long time. Also, other technologies, of course, are the saber darts that they created, which is how Obi-Wan tracked them down. In episode 2, bounty hunter Jango Fett used them, as well as many other bounty hunters. So technology, cloning-wise, as we learn in episode 2, there's obviously a host that you have to clone from.
Right. Template.
A template, yeah, Jango Fett being the template for the clone army. And then it does take time, obviously, to mature them and train them. As far as the movies go, the original batch of clone troopers took 10 years. Mm-hmm. The Order, which came from Master Sifo Dyas, came very, very shortly after the Battle of Naboo in episode 1. Now, a lot of this stuff you don't know about from the movies. You can gather it. But a lot of that does come from a mixture of books and comics, and now the final season of the Clone Wars. We get a little bit more information about who Sifo Dyas was, what actually happened to him. Because initially it was actually supposed to be explained in episode 3.
Yeah.
But I think Lucas, having the foresight that he does, I think he wanted to tell the story in the Clone Wars. Because it is the reason behind the Clone Wars. I mean, it's, there wouldn't be clones if there wasn't for Sifo Dyas, and it wouldn't be for the downfall and the birth of the Empire if it wasn't for the clones.
Right.
So, which ultimately is discovered that it's basically the entire plot of Darth Sidious in the beginning. So,
Yeah.
But we'll get more into that after this. But that is basically the planet Kamino. There are several battles on Kamino.
Right.
There's a big arc. I don't know what season it is. I think it was the start of season 4, maybe, where there's a big invasion by the separatists because they're trying to destroy the facilities. Yeah. So they quit making clones.
That was a big arc too, wasn't it? 'Cause I remember they had those ships that would Ventures was a part of that one.
Yes. And Grievous.
They climbed up the buildings with those big things.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
It was a great. I think it was the beginning of one season because I remember thinking this was a great start to the season.
I think it was Ahsoka was in there. What was it, her big test of becoming? I don't know. I might be mixing up stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's been so long. It's been a while. But they are... but there's been several battles in there as well. Kamino makes a very prominent reemergence during the Force Unleashed game.
Yeah.
Where Galen Merrick, who is Starkiller, ends up being cloned and returns to Kamino to see basically a big room full of himself. So,
and if you play the Battlefront games, I think Battlefront 2 is more Battlefront 2, where Kamino is one of the maps you can play on. It's pretty cool.
Where Boba Fett is involved.
Yeah.
So,
and I wonder how much canon that is. I mean, I wonder the new Battlefront game coming out, which is basically a reboot, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure that might be considered.
Oh, really?
Probably. I mean, it's according to the story group. I guess if everything that's coming out now
has to be approved by them.
I guess so. I guess that as well will be canon. Although I don't know how much you can change canon necessarily.
Right. So that is Kamino.
Yep.
Very important, and of course, and like we mentioned before we started recording, this planet, the system was removed from the archives.
Yeah.
By Count Dooku. One of several planets that he removed, Dagobah being another one that was on that list. Obviously, to hide the fact that the clones were it was there and it was a part because being so far out of the galaxy, out of the outer rim, in the what they call wild space.
Wild space.
I mean, no one pays attention much out there. It's not really under Republic rule or Galactic rule. Although they are. I mean, but they just get paid to clone, and obviously a lot of the Jedi didn't even know about them or consider them when Sifo Dyas placed the order. So, but like I said, we'll get into. So I'll tell you for a fact, and I'll preview the last week of this month when we do episode 2 month. We are going to profile Sifo Dyas,
right?
Because that's going to tie into the last arc, and we got a lot to talk about with him because to figure out all of this mess. Because there is one, I can't wait to talk to you, Casey, about it. There's one shocking visual that is in episode 11.
Yeah.
When Yoda goes not back for the first time, goes to Dagobah. There's a vision, there's a scene on there that I highly question how it made it in.
Okay.
I don't know how it's in there, but and when you see it, I think you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm excited.
So that we'll definitely talk about that.
We need to bring in Leland Chi on this.
I desperately want to get an interview with him. We will try our
best.
Just
questions like, so what about this?
We will try our best. All right, so moving on. You want to do news first, or you want to talk about the series?
Talk about the series.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move on and tie it into the first arc of the brand new season of the Clone Wars, the Lost Missions. I keep saying brand new season and not final season because for some reason I really don't think we've seen the last of the Clone Wars. I really don't.
You think we'll have little shorts that'll be released or something?
Possibly
like that on Netflix.
Because there was an interview by Filoni. Did you or wrote on his blog or something like that? And he's like, he kind of hinted thanks for watching these missions and the missions to come or something like that. He said something like, he said something that added to it.
He
I was
likes
like,
being
what?
cryptic. He's always cryptic.
I just feel like, well, obviously, I take that back. We are getting because there's the Darth Maul is coming in a comic.
True.
Darth Maul.
I might be referring to that.
You're right. So the Darth Maul arc, they didn't finish it digitally, so
Weird.
So that's true. Maybe, and they would have to go back and finish some stuff. So a lot of stuff isn't finished, but like Tom Kane said, season 7 is recorded.
Yeah,
like season 7
they
is
just gotta
recorded.
animate it. And that's it.
I mean, turn those in the comics.
Yeah,
or something. I don't know.
Radio dramas.
But anyway, so the first 4 episodes of this new season, the Lost Missions, are about basically this clone trooper Tub. So spoilers if you haven't seen it.
Spoilers.
Please go watch it. Yeah. We won't spoil all the way, but how we got to set up the story. And this is you can see these in the trailers and in the clips, but so Tub, who is one of the stormtrooper or clone troopers in this garrison that Anakin is heading with these twin Jedis. In the very beginning of the first episode, this trooper snaps, walks right up to one of the twins and kills her, blasts her. But he doesn't have any really memory of it. So he's breaking down. They basically, the arc follows trying to figure out what went wrong, and it is discovered that it is tied to Order 66, which we know of in episode 3 as the order that kill all the Jedis. So very very interesting arc, like we said, because I didn't even remember this, but like apparently Shakti has been training or been part of she's the Jedi general that's been on Kamino this whole time. Because I remember she was in the first arc. Yes. I think it was called Rookies.
With the training,
the training of Fives.
Yeah,
and Tup, I think, was there too. She's been there since the beginning. It seems like
that's where she's been.
I guess, yeah, because you don't see her anywhere else.
Yeah.
In holograms, basically, I think. But I don't think I've ever. Did we ever see her sitting on the council? I think we do in episode 3.
Probably, I can't remember.
But yeah, she's. Of course, she survives because she's in the Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
So, I guess extending on what we talked about in the beginning, but what else you got on this?
Let's see. It just seemed like cinematically it was much more advanced. I don't know. Like it felt more cinematic. There was a really cool sequence where Anakin and 2 troopers, I guess it was Fives and Rex, I guess. I don't know who, but were trying to infiltrate this enemy ship to rescue Tup, and they were like doing a spacewalk on this station. And the way it was animated was really cool because they got out of the ship and they're walking on this big battle station, and they're walking like upside down because it's space. There is no direction, so they're walking upside down and they walk. It's just crazy, and it's very like Inception-like, where the camera follows them, how they're turning upside down and all that stuff. It's really well shot. And I just think that was one of my first impressions with how just even the choreography of how they were fighting, it just seemed much more epic and it just felt incredible. The story-wise, it was pretty amazing. It was just emotional because whenever they focus on the clones, they always focus on like the clones' individuality and talk about how a clone, we're not just the clones, we're actual people. We can't be disposed of. It was hitting on that again, and not only that, but they brought in a new kind of character, I guess, the AZM, the droid, the medical droid.
Yes, he
was cool. I was feeling for him, and it was like a kind of a short circuit deal where he's like, I wish I could feel human feelings, but I don't, and he really does. It was very touching, very good, and still very dark. Quite a dark episode, but I was just amazed at how close and how tied to the movies it was. These more so than others. It was very tied to episode 3. And they did not shy away from the evilness of Palpatine. He was quite evil in this, and they didn't really hide much.
We're getting, and I noticed this watching more episodes in the season. Like we get so much more of Sidious, and Palpatine than we have, I think, in the past of the Clone Wars, because it is getting close. I think it's getting. I would say, if I were to guess, I would say this is probably within a year of episode 3, easily.
Yeah.
So, man, it's just, and like you said, I think it's a shame, because I think a full season 6 and even season 7, I think there would have been a ton of ties to what we see in episode 3.
Yeah. Can't imagine. That's 7 years worth of episodes based within 3 years between episode 2 and episode 3. It's like, that's a lot of content.
That's a lot of content. Well, you got to think about all the battles that happen. There's so much, but yeah, overall this was an incredible arc, I think, because and I like I was telling you, I think it does make me want to go back and watch the previous seasons, because these troopers were introduced a while ago. I mean, the Fives and Tup, they've been around and they've been fighting with Skywalker. They've been fighting, and they're ARC troopers. They're like the high level clone troopers. Because I love that part where they're, like he's with Rex and Fives, and he's like, what do we do? And Anakin's about to go,
kill him,
to get his lightsaber out and kill him on. And he's like, why don't we just use these?
Yeah, the grapple guns.
Guns. That was really cool. So but it's nice to see too how, especially a guy like Anakin, how he's risking all this for a clone. A guy that's supposed to be expendable and replaceable. But you start to realize that these guys are very, very much individuals. And I love the fact, because you didn't really see that much in the movies, or actually you didn't see it at all.
No.
But I love the fact that they have different haircuts.
Yeah.
Some have tattoos.
Like crybaby. Tattoo.
Exactly. They're just they're different. They're individuals. Because just watching the movies, you just think they all look the same and they all act the same. I mean, even in the movies, what you did see of them, like in the lunch line and all that stuff, they're the same guy. They just didn't have that time yet to develop into a different, have individuality with themselves. But I love how they've done that. I love how it makes it more. I mean, this adds so much more weight. Now, here's the thing, though, is like Captain Rex. We don't see him in the movies,
right?
So either something happens to him,
or you
just don't know.
Yeah. But
Commander Cody, you do see, and he's the one that kind of turns on Obi-Wan. So some of these guys, this what the Clone Wars does, it kind of adds more weight to their characters.
It's interesting. Do we want to talk about the whole chip thing?
Sure.
Much, because that's
exactly what we should talk about.
Still, because they don't know it's there. They don't know about the chip that basically prevents them. Because is that the chip that basically makes them makes them evil? That is the switch. When they say that, I guess that secret word.
It triggers their mindset to. That was a question. Me and Chad were talking about that today. Is it? Is that? I mean, what is it? A electrical signal, or is it actually the words? Execute Order 66. Is that what triggers it?
Word.
I think it is the words. I think it has to be the words from Palpatine.
Yeah, but it's weird because aren't there other orders like that are known. Like I thought I've read somewhere like there are like orders 1 through something, and like orders but below 66, above 66.
Maybe
I want to look that up because I thought I read that somewhere where there were like order 66 and there's like order.
Dang! What if someone accidentally said order 66?
Yeah.
Wait, what are you doing? I didn't say 66. I said 76.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No.
But it's it's cool because they don't know about it, and when it triggers, like, because you remember from episode 3, they're winning a war, then something gets a hologram from Palpatine. That's Order 66. It's like, all right, fire at Obi-Wan. So it's like they don't even think twice about it.
They don't, and because it is ingrained. I guess it's ingrained in that
Good
part of their
soldier follows orders. Like
exactly.
Tope was saying.
But the amazing thing is but what makes me think it's not just the number or the execution of it, because when Cody says it, or when he gets it from him, he turns to that guy, and the guy already knows too what to do.
Yeah,
it's not like he has to get told
that's
either.
You know
what I mean? So, because right when he says, shoot at him, and normally if he didn't know that, the guy would be like, "Why am I shooting at Obi-Wan?" But he obviously, at some point, they all kind of got the order at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why it makes me think that there was like a trigger that Palpatine hit.
Maybe there's an
that kind of activated everybody.
But I'm reading here
because he malfunctioned, right? I mean,
True.
he just all of a sudden got like, I got to kill a Jedi. So
it's a parasite.
It might not be a voice or anything that activates it. It might be some electrical thing that triggers it.
Yeah. And I'm reading here. There are contingency orders for the Grand Army of the Republic. Order initiation orders 1 through 150. So this is a compilation of contingency orders that were to be carried out under various circumstances by the Grand Army of the Republic. This is from Wikipedia. And that doesn't list all the orders. It just lists like order 4, 5, 37, 65, 66. And 66 says, in the event of Jedi officers acting against the interests of the Republic and through receiving specific orders verified as coming directly from the Supreme Chancellor, the JR commanders will remove those officers from by lethal force, and command of the JR will revert to the Supreme Commander, which is the Chancellor, until a new command structure is established. I'm trying to find the source of that. It's from the... this is from the Republic Commandos book, the novel. So it's technically EU, I guess you can say. So it's not necessarily... So it could be contradicted. So it's something... Because based off what we've seen in the movies and what we just saw in Clone Wars, it seems like this isn't real. That the clones... No one knew about Order 66. Except for Tyrannus and Palpatine and Lama Su and those other Kaminoans. So yeah, it's just... There's still a little bit of a question, I guess, there. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think...
I guess you can assume. You can assume a lot of that, or just connect the dots yourselves, I suppose.
Whether or not the Kamino...
whether or not... know? Well, I guess whether or not the clone troopers... I guess whether it was like a trigger, I guess what you said, like, or whatever, like, I guess... Like what I just read, like how it is a trigger by the Palpatine, and like no one knew about it, but it's just weird, like, like you said, like I don't know, can't put my thoughts together, but it's just very interesting. It's just a crazy plot. I don't know. It's a good plot.
It's a very in the end, it's a very detailed and very reliant on certain things happening over a long period of time. I mean, this is a designed plot. As like I said, as we will learn more with Sifo Dyas, and his involvement. But yeah, the creation of the army, the implanting of this order, and then of course you have to keep it a secret for the entire campaign of the Clone Wars till the right time when you have your apprentice right where you want him, and then it's like
13-year.
Oh yeah, 13 years.
At least 13 years.
Well, not just that, but even before then, when he's trying to recruit, Maul and Tyrannus and oh man, I mean, Palpatine had it figured out from so long. I mean, he basically pulled it off until Luke Skywalker comes around and ruins everything.
Well, and Sidious made a point to say in this 4-episode arc how like this is really going to threaten. This is threatening all my plans. Like,
right.
He was actually kind of worried about it too.
Absolutely, because
this was a true hiccup.
Because basically they were. I mean, the speculation was there that the separatists somehow planted it there. Or I don't know if they went. They didn't go as far as claiming that it was the Sith. I don't think. Right?
No, it seemed like they seemed to think it was initially before Fives found out what was really going on. They were thinking it was just some brainwashing thing. Like somehow it was like a virus.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the Kamino and Doctor was leading in that route too, because she was trying to cover it up as well. So yeah, very awesome, very awesome kickoff to the Clone Wars, and we will dive into the next arc next week. The next arc is a 3-episode part. If you remember previously during the Clone Wars seasons, there was a character named Clovis that betrayed the Republic, and he returns in this next arc with Padme and Anakin, and it involves the Baking Clan, and basically the Munes, which we have talked about with basically Darth Plagueis, who is immune. I think we were calling it Mun.
Oh, is that how they say Mune?
It's a Mune.
Dang, I feel like an idiot now.
I know. We didn't know.
Where else has it been pronounced?
I think that was the first time I've ever heard it. But it's
a lot of this is guessing.
They're Munes. So
until
now we
actually
know.
Hear about it. A lot
exactly.
Of
They don't tell us the pronunciations when we look this up. All right, so that is the story arc. Like I said, we will talk about episode 2 next week with the next arc, and we'll figure out what we'll talk about. Profile be something with obviously maybe the Banking Clan, maybe the Munes, maybe the planet they're on, or maybe even Clovis if there's a lot about him. So. All right, let's move on, do some news. What we got on the news front?
The news. Let's see. Well, I guess we'll keep going with the Clone Wars theme. Leland Chi, the Holocron Keeper, has tweeted an official chronological order of the whole Clone Wars show, seasons 1 through 6. I guess 6 being the Lost Missions, what we have now. And this, I mean, it's really cool that we have an official thing to use. But we basically, what you found not too long ago, what we started watching the Clone Wars on, this is the same exact order that you found.
It is.
But coming from Leland Chi, this is the official chronological order of the Clone Wars show, which we were promised many years ago by Dave Filoni. And it's pretty cool. And now it's on Netflix, you can actually watch this in the order that you wish.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder why it's out of order. But
just came up with the story. Hey, let's do this story. Okay, let's can only fit in this area,
and everything. And basically, like it says here, like season 4 was completely in order. Mm-hmm. There was 1 episode or 2. I think it actually looks like 1 episode of season 5 was out of order.
Yeah.
6 is obviously in order. It looks like 2 kind of bounces around a lot.
It does, yeah.
And then 3 is a lot of bouncing.
You have like a random episode 1.
Yeah, like in the middle of episode 3, there's an episode 22nd episode of season 1. Is sandwiched between episode 8 and 9 of season 3. And I think that's the one. Is that the one with the bounty hunters? Like,
which one are you talking about?
The end of season 1.
Yeah. Oh, Cad Bane going.
I think it was Cad Bane.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And then Cad Bane returns to season 3. So if you follow Leland Chi, he is at Holocron Keeper. You can find this order.
Yeah, he usually tweets out some pretty interesting little canon canonizing tweets.
Yeah.
Because everybody always asks him questions like, "Does this fit?" or like, "What the deal is with this?" And all he does is answer those questions.
We need him answering questions on here.
I ask him a bunch of questions.
We'll try that. Yeah.
I want some scoops.
All right. What else we got?
Okay, Star Wars Episode 7 news. There has been talks that Peter Mayhew was too ill to come back as Chewbacca, and he has been very ill. And the rumor was that they've been casting for a replacement for Chewbacca, someone else to be in the suit. But it looks like it, and someone took a picture of him recently. He's been in rehab, physical rehab, and it looks like he's doing very well. He's actually walking on his own for a little bit. He still needs assistance after a while, but people are kind of hopeful. Basically, this is like raising hopes now. Like maybe he can be Chewbacca still, because there's a picture of him lifting some weights, and he looks fine. I mean, it says though he needs, after a while, he does need help walking. And just imagine him in that suit; he'll definitely need help. So I mean, I just think for the pure benefit of him and his health, I think he should probably stay out of it.
Yes,
but
I agree.
If he's up for it, I don't know. It makes me worried. But basically, Peter Mayhew is doing very well. People who have been wondering, don't know. And moving on, Carrie Fisher. And last week we talked about how she's looking very well, very healthy. It has been said by this comedian who, I haven't really researched him, but this comedian who has his own talk show, Carrie Fisher, I guess, guest starred on his show. He talked to her a little bit, and this comedian told some news source that Carrie Fisher will be shooting in London for Episode 7 in about 6 or 7 months this year, which just, again, unofficially confirms, I guess, that she will be Princess Leia, or Leia, I guess, in Episode 7. And way more than a cameo, shooting 6 or 7 months. That's a pretty prominent role.
Yes.
And then...
Or it's possible she'd be going over there and working out for 3 more months.
Oh, true, yeah. And rehearsing and doing scripts and all that,
yeah.
And then there is just a recent picture been published of Mark Hamill. Again, he also is looking he's looking more healthy than past years. So it's good. It's looking pretty good. They're all going to be in it. Rest assured, everybody. Hopefully, everybody is on board with that, because some people didn't want them to be in it. But the original 3, yeah, it's stupid. But the original 3 will be in Episode 7, most def. And that's pretty much all the news I got for you guys. Sorry, it's a light week, but it's still some good stuff.
They're
holding out on some news.
I just want the first shot of Luke. Oh,
that's cool. Is he gonna wear the black? You think he still wear the black?
Yeah, I do. I do think he'll wear the black.
Jedis don't really change clothes often.
Yeah. He's just gonna look awesome, man.
Yeah.
You know what's gonna be? What's gonna be even the best is that he'll still have the same lightsaber.
The green handle.
Yeah, the same handle from the. I guarantee it's the same lightsaber. That's gonna be awesome.
That'd be weird. Like in his shoes, holding that again as Luke Skywalker.
Absolutely.
He probably never thought he'd play Luke Skywalker again.
No, why would he?
That's so crazy.
Yeah, why would he? I mean, especially this far. Yeah. I mean, you maybe think 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, we'll make Episode 7 because it's
fit and
popular. But man, no, this is 30-something years. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's awesome. All right, so that'll wrap it up. Let's do some trivia. Episode 2. So I just randomly opened this page here. Okay. You pick 474 through 490.
480.
480. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Let's do it.
480. Where did Jango Fett live? A. Tatooine. B. Sullust. C. Galadron. Or D. Kamino.
Gosh, see, I'm want to give up on these because.
Oh wait, what the?
Kamino.
Wait, I didn't mean to do that.
Was it Kamino?
No, that was a different question.
Oh, okay.
I was typing it in. Oh, okay,
so. But I'm gonna go. I want to go with Kamino because that's where he was living in Episode 2. But I feel like I've been so disappointed in all these, like the past like 5 weeks, where I've guessed, not guessed, but even when I thought so. And
yeah. I don't think it's Kamino, but
I've been guessing so wrong. Because where he's living, where does he live?
Where does Jango Fett live?
Yeah.
Tatooine, Sullust, Galadran, or Kamino? But because to talk it through, you're right. Because, when Obi-Wan says, where is this bounty hunter? And just, we keep him here.
Yeah,
so
keep him here.
Is he living there?
Is he living there? He looks like he has a very well-established place there. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't live on Tatooine or Sullust, so I would say Galadron. But Kamino, it seems like an obvious choice. But it's like this book is very technical sometimes.
Did I mark last? I'm not sure if I marked last week's thing, but
all right. Where does he live?
Where does
Jango Fett live?
Jango Fett live?
Okay.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. Where did
he live? Okay, that changed.
Jango Fett live?
Okay, so
it says where did Jango Fett live?
Okay, so because
Tatooine, Sullust, Galadron, or Kamino.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna say Galadron.
You're gonna say Galadron.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say Sullust.
Yeah. That sounds pretty good too. But there are.
Okay, I'm gonna say B Sullust.
Okay. Gosh, I'm just giving up.
Nope, it is D Kamino.
I don't understand.
I mean, that is the obvious choice.
Yeah,
but
where did he live? I guess because he's dead now.
I guess. Dang it, that was obvious.
Yeah.
Of course, he lived in Kamino, but I thought it meant before that.
Yeah, gosh, stupid questions. This book. Could have gotten that right. I was going to say Kamino until it said did.
Correct. I would. Yeah.
Oh well, at least.
How many questions? See, how many questions? I don't know because there's 49 questions.
We've done 2 in 1 week, I think. So I think we've done like 50.
We've done 50.
Yeah,
because I've got 50.
Yeah, we did 2 in 1 week because we missed one. We missed 1 week.
Okay, because I'm 31 and 19.
I'm so far behind.
27 and 23.
Yeah.
You're only 4 behind.
Yeah, that's still.
But that equals 50. So yeah, we did 2. You're saying we did 2 in 1 week?
We did.
Yeah. Okay, so that'll do it for this week's episode. Episode 49. Man, the big 5-0 next week. We don't really have anything special. Actually, we may have some more interviews, actually.
Oh, okay.
So coming this week,
that's true.
We've got LexCon here in Lexington, Kentucky. So if you're around here, I suggest check that out this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We've got some great Star Wars guests coming. The guy who plays Rick Ali, who we, I think his name's Ralph Brown. He is going to be here. Daniel Logan, the voice of Boba Fett, and the guy who played young Boba Fett.
And Akbar.
Will be here. Dak, guy who played Dak, will be here. He's actually a lot older than I thought he would be. But and then, of course, Tom Kane will be here. So we are going to try our best to get some interviews. I've already got some lined up, actually, for the other shows. For especially in the comics, our comics podcast. We've got some interviews lined up for that. So we're going to try to incorporate some of those into the show. I'll be attending this weekend to try to get all that. So like I said, check that out if you want. LexCon. I think it's LexingtonComicConvention.com, but if not, just Google Lexington Comic Con and you'll get the website, which see all the guests that are going to be there. Check us out at Inside the Force on Twitter, InsideTheForce.com for all 49 episodes of this awesome podcast. Casey over there is at Kryptonian1138. I am at DCottingham21. Of course, we are part of the 21 Network. Go to 21network.com to get all the latest podcasts from the previous week. Get our latest video. Speaking of video, our YouTube channel, 21 Network YouTube channel, we've got our series Camera One from the guys that are hosting the shows. And then, of course, on our 21 Productions YouTube channel, youtube.com/21pro. You can get our Star Wars fan films, The Unknown Discovery and Rise of the Troopers, as well as our new weekly series, Star Wars Quotes from a 4-Year-Old from my daughter Sam. Mm-hmm. Check those out. If you're a Star Wars fan, you need to check those out. We've got more Star Wars stuff coming from us, hopefully.
Forever.
Especially a new series that we're starting every year around May the 4th. We have May the 4th video we're working on. That'll be out the weekend of May the 4th. Be with you. So, all right. That'll wrap us up Inside the Force for Casey Cooley.
This baby belongs to them cloners. What you got here is Kamino saber dart.
Nice.
Yeah, whatever. Take it or leave it. I don't care.
Dexter,
Jexter, whatever his name is. Yeah.
Dexter
saber dart.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for listening, guys. Like I said, check out Lexington Comic Con if you can. We'll be back next week for episode 50. Thanks, Casey.
You're welcome.
I'm David Cottingham, and may the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.